Let's start. All right. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to Intentional. So many beautiful faces I see here today, moms and dads from all around the world. I'm truly honored, happy, and excited to be here with you today. And my intention from this masterclass, inshallah, is to help you understand. Okay, my intention from this masterclass is to help you understand your children more, connect with them, and influence them so that you can have a more peaceful home and raise them to become responsible, respectful, and God conscious. So let's start. All right, so if this is your first time to attend any masterclass with me, please type 1. If you have attended any class or program before, please type 2. And let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'd love to know. I'd like to take this chance to introduce myself. Sorry, I'm not in my office, so I have so much noise. Much better. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. For those who are new here, my name is Hannah Arafa. I'm certified positive discipline parent educator. I'm certified from the United States of America, and I've been working in the educational field for 10 plus years, alhamdulillah. Earlier in my career, I used to work inside classrooms as a teacher. Imagine living all day with 25 plus kids in one room. I've also facilitated trainings for teachers and parents. And right now, alhamdulillah, throughout my parenting coaching work, I've been blessed and honored to have supported more than 100 parents to have more peace at home and more peace within by understanding their children, connecting with them, and creating peace at home. So thank you for being here with me today. It truly means a lot. So how we're going to be running this class, I want you to know that the chat is yours. Feel free to share your thoughts, what resonates with you, what landed for you, any aha moments you have. Let's make it a two-way conversation. Deal? Okay. So in the first part of the session, inshallah, we'll be having our session, our valuable learnings, tools. We're going to be doing some activities together and reflections. And at the end of this session, inshallah, for those of you who want to take these parenting gems further and get support with the transformation, at the end of the session, I will share with you more about Bloom. And if you're new here and you don't know what Bloom is my signature 12-week live parenting program to help you have more peace at home with your children. So you can raise them to become capable, God-conscious, responsible, respectful, and confident by connecting with them and understanding them without the overwhelming parenting strategies. So more about Bloom later, inshallah. All right. So I see here 2s and 1s. Welcome everyone who's watching for the first time and who's been here before. So what's intentional parenting and why intentional parenting? There are two kinds of parenting programs and approaches. Those that depend on external control, okay, such as punishments, raising our voice to get our kids to listen, using if, like threatening them. If you don't eat your lunch, you're not going to have ice cream. If you don't do your homework, you're not going out today. If you don't clean up your room, you're not doing that. Or if you do this one more time, I will do that. Or even rewards. When you do this, I will give you that. When you study, you will do, this is called external control, right? And they seem to work temporarily. But in the long run, we'll explore together what happens. And those like the other approach, like intentional parenting and positive discipline, they teach internal control, which means to teach your child to do the right thing, even when no one is looking, even when you are not there, even when they are out on their own. Now, guess which one we need for our children today, right? And I deeply know that when most of us resort to the traditional way, it's because maybe it's the only way we've seen as kids. Maybe it's the only know the way we have been raised by our parents. Maybe it's the way that society has normalized and we don't know any other way. But we are here today not to shame ourselves or feel bad or feel guilty for using these methods. Our intention here together, inshallah, is to gain awareness and expand our understanding to what's possible for us and our children when we choose a different way to parent them. Okay? So when we see the end of each tunnel for each parenting method, we'll have the wisdom to choose the path wisely. And we'll have the patience to endure the challenges with our children because we know that it's all worth it for this life and the hereafter, inshallah. And the objective of learning more about parenting, expanding our tools and understanding is not to live happily ever after, because living with children is always full of surprises, but the goal is to rise above the overwhelm. The goal is to rise above the challenges and to make use of the daily opportunities that we have with our children to connect with them and raise them. So now tell me in the comments, what are traditional parenting methods that society uses with children? And let's explore what children learn with them. Like, tell me, for example, when you or your neighbor or the teacher asks children to do something and they don't, what do parents usually resort to? So kids would listen. Mohga says time out. Yes. Thank you, Mohga, for sharing. Iman says they resort to giving candy when they do it. Yeah, that's rewarding. Sara says, if I need to repeat myself again, there will be consequences. Damia says, some sort of punishment. All right. So thanks for sharing. So let's explore. When we yell to our kids, what do they learn subconsciously? That the only way to solve conflicts is through raising our voice. So the next time they have a conflict with their friend, their colleague, their brother or sister, they will raise their voice. If we keep on using rewards, like if you do this, I will buy you that or give you that, they will learn that there has to be an external motivator for them to choose to do the right thing. But that means that when the external motive is not there, they don't know what to choose, they don't know how to choose, and they're lost because we have made them used to taking decisions based on an external kind of pressure, whether it's punishment, whether it's bribes or rewards or consequences. So what happens here is we distort the inner sense of right or wrong or the fitrah of our children when we use these techniques. Samira says yelling, raising our voice. Yes, yes. So unfortunately, all these methods that we have been raised by or we use with our children or other teachers or other people use, they might work temporarily, But in the long run, they don't teach children anything. And there's also something that's quite common, which is offering children conditional love. Like, we really love them when they're good, when they're obedient, when they're listening, but when they make mistakes or when they do something wrong, we resent them so much. What does this teach our children? It teaches children that they are not worthy of being loved just the way they are, for who they are. And it teaches them to be people pleasers. They learn to please people in order to gain their love and in order to fit in. So, can you imagine that playing with our children's emotions and offering them and showering them with so much love when they're good, but when they are not good or they do mistakes, we are very strict and we shout and we yell and we use all these methods. They learn that they have to please people to be accepted. They learn to please their friends. They learn to follow the crowd, to fit in. And this is very dangerous. Samira says, and unfortunately, my kids have picked up this when they fight with each other, getting too worked up and excited. Yes, Samira, because subhanAllah, Allah has created for our children, and I'm going to expand more on this later. Allah has created for our children mirror neurons, okay? Their brain is like a sponge. This is how they learn and this is how they grow. So everything that we do in front of our children and everything that we say, whether consciously or unconsciously, it gets recorded in their mind and they use this data or information or actions in the right time. Like, I've seen my children and many children, they get stressed and they express their anger in the same way like their parents do. They use their hands and they frown and they raise their voice. So what we do every day, our actions, they are copied every day by our children. So also, one common method that often is used is punishment. But unfortunately, punishment can be used in a good or a bad way. If the punishment has nothing to do with the behavior, it never teaches any lesson. Like, let's say, for example, you asked your child to clean up the room, okay? And they didn't clean up the room. So you told them as a consequence, next week, we're not going to see grandma, or we're not going out with our friends. What happened here is the child will not focus on the lesson, but will focus on the pain and will live in victim mode. Like, how bad mom is, how bad dad is. They hate me so much. They're not going to let me do this or that. So they live so much in the pain that they cannot process the lesson at all. And tell me in the comments, have you ever punished your child and then they repeated the same mistake over again? Muhammad says, very good point. Yeah, children, when we punish them, they just focus on the pain. Like, I remember my cousin once, her child did something wrong and she told him suddenly, she promised him that she's going to get him ice cream that day. Okay. And he did something wrong. So she was very frustrated and she told her son, no ice cream. You know what? No ice cream for you today. He kept crying the whole night because he didn't get to have his ice cream and all his cousins went to get ice cream. He kept remembering and retelling this story for days, for days. And then the next day and the following day and the following day, he repeated the same mistake over and over again. Because when kids are so consumed with the pain, they cannot process the lesson. That the consequence has to be related to the behavior. Like a natural consequence, for example, can be if I make an agreement with my child, when you clean up your toys, we can go out. And it happened before. I made an agreement a long time ago with my older daughter. She's 11 now. I have three kids, by the way. They're 11, 7, and 3, mashallah. And I made an agreement with her when she was younger. She was maybe, I don't remember, that was a long time ago, to clean up her room and then we will go out. So I was ready. I put on my clothes and I was waiting for her. And she was just being a child doing something else. So as a consequence, I waited for her to clean up her room. I did not punish her, but the natural consequence was that my daughter and I were the last people to join our friends for the outing. So she missed out. And then when she found out that they have started the rides and they started the fun without her, she realized that she should have focused. That's a natural consequence. I did not have to intervene. Iman says, yes, sometimes he does the wrong thing intentionally in front of me. Yes, actually, yes. We'll talk about this later, Iman. This is very, very common. Sometimes kids, when they feel that mom is in or dad are enforcing their power, they feel like they want to take their power back. So they might take revenge. They might insist to do the wrong thing, to feel like they are the boss and you are not the boss. More about this later, inshallah. That's so common. All right, let's move on. So even society sometimes people overprotect their children. When we overprotect our children, children learn that someone has to take care of me. I cannot take care of myself. I don't know how to follow boundaries. I don't know how to follow body safety rules. I don't know how to follow instructions because I'm used to someone being my shadow and overprotecting me every day. When we are too strict with our children, what happens? Children lie to us. They run away from their mistakes. They do things behind our back because they know that I did something wrong and mom and dad are going to give me a very hard time about it. So I'd better back up myself and protect myself. That's very common also as well. And on the other hand, when we are too permissive with our children, like every time they have a tantrum, we give in and we give them what they want. Every time they ask for something, even though we have said no about it earlier, but we just gave up or give in and we say yes. When we are too permissive, they learn that this is the way to get what I want. I will always have tantrums. I will always put others around me under stress to get what I want. And when we are too permissive, we deprive our children from the chance to learn to become responsible and respect boundaries and respect routines and respect rules and respect agreements, right? When we are not consistent with our children, children get confused. And this is when undesirable behavior shows up. So let me know in the comments, how is this landing for you right now? How do you feel about this? Anything resonates? Also, sometimes when kids have big emotions, we tend to feel really frustrated and triggered and we try to shush them down, like, shh, enough, quiet, enough crying. So what happens is children learn that having feelings is bad, having emotions is bad. I'm not allowed to feel. And have you realized that most of us in our generation, they are not in tune with their feelings. They are not in tune with their body. We suppress our feelings and we keep bottling our feelings inside because no one has taught us how to deal with our emotions. But then the slightest thing happened and we burst. Because when we were kids, our parents used to shush us down whenever we try to express our emotions. So we learn to suppress and bottle up our feelings. And this is what happens when we keep bottling our kids' feelings inside and we don't teach them to express their feelings in healthy ways. They're not regulated. They have big feelings, tantrums, meltdowns because no one showed them another way. So let's have a deep breath. So with everything that's going on in the world, the question that comes to our mind is, how can we make sure that we, the parents, have the stronger influence on our children, right? Have you ever felt that, and let me know in the comments if, give me a +1 if you've ever felt that the values that you're teaching, the religion that you're teaching at home is one thing, but then society, media, and the outside world is not supporting you and in fact is teaching your children the opposite. Give me a +1 if you've ever felt or had this concern before. +1, +1. Yeah, this is very common. So what do we do and how do we raise our children in a way that helps us have the stronger influence on them, right? By being intentional in our parenting, through intentional parenting. And I will show you an example. In just a few minutes, you will have an opportunity to participate with me in a live demo that will show you the difference between different parenting approaches. And I will do a demo with you right now to show you an example of how to invite your child's cooperation and how to turn their mistake into a chance to learn a lesson, but without turning them off, okay? But first, before we do this demo, we need to create two lists. So I will share my screen right now. All right. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, thank you, Iman. Perfect. All right. So we are going to create two lists together right now. I need your input in this. I want you to tell me in the comments, what are the current challenges that you are facing with your children on a day-to-day basis? And I will be writing them down here. Let me start by not listening. When children don't listen. Talk back, when kids talk back at us. What else? Why I don't see the chat? Yeah, there the chat is. Okay, so Fatima says self-regulation. Yes. Okay, so the challenges is dysregulation. What else are you facing with your children on a daily basis? Difficulty following routines such as brushing teeth, sleeping on time, baths. Yes. Okay. So not cooperating, bedtime, battles, routine, Struggles. Iman says reacting angrily. Yeah. Anger. Samira says difficulty cutting back on screen. Yes. Screen time battles. Warda says hitting or aggression in general. High emotions, Samira says. Um, the chat is going fast for me. I'm trying to slow. My child is little, but my niece, who is 10, tends to get upset very easily if something doesn't go her way, and then holds grudges and goes into a room and stays in this state for hours at a time. My sister needs to talk to her for lengthy periods, but still has trouble helping her get. Oh, now who's the boss here? Thanks for sharing, Mohga. Is the child the boss here, or is the parent the boss here in this situation? Like, imagine children dragging their parents into endless, draining conversations. High emotions, Samira says. She's still young, generally always wanting something from the fridge, which she can't have at a specific time. Sweets. Study time, Muhammad says. Anxiety, Samira says. All right, let's write them down. Study problems. Anxiety. Okay, I think that's fine for now. That's enough. Okay. Now, I want you to take a moment and think in 3, 4, 10 years, you have started your intentional parenting journey and you have been very intentional in raising your child. And now you see good qualities in them, good qualities, good characteristics, and good life skills. So give me examples of what qualities, characteristics, and life skills would you like to see in your child? Confident, self-respect. Yes. Okay. Empathy. Yeah, empathetic. Empathy. What else? Self-respect, self-control. Yes. What else? Self-love. Yeah. What about good communication skills? Problem-solving skills, conflict resolution, ability to make informed decisions. Yes, decision making. I would love mine to be strong and to hold on to their beliefs no matter what. Yeah. Good discipline, routine. Yes. Self-disciplined, organized, follow routines. Problem solving, dealing smoothly with anger, yes. Emotional regulation, secure in their values, yes. Okay, running out of space. So values, emotional regulation. All right. Thanks for sharing, everyone, and creating this list with me. I appreciate it. All right. So now that we have a list of challenges and a list of qualities, let's do the demo. I'll do a demo with you and we'll do some reflection after this demo. So, all right. So let's pretend that I'm your mother or your father, okay? And you are my child, okay? While I'm talking to you, I want you to notice, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And what are you deciding? Okay? You're not required to do anything. Just notice, what are you thinking, feeling, and deciding. You are a child and I'm your mom. I'm talking to you. Are you ready? Okay. Hey, go brush your teeth or you'll have a mouth full of cavities. Don't forget your coat. Go to bed now. Do your homework now. Stop fighting with your brother. How many times do I have to remind you to put the dish in the sink? Hurry up and get dressed or you'll miss the bus. Stop whining. You are driving me crazy. Pick up your toys or I'll give them to other children who don't have any toys. Now, tell me, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And what were you deciding? Mohke says, I feel annoyed. Iman says, irritated, angry, having some anxiety. Damia says, annoying mom. Yeah. Imagine every day. Warda says, I felt disrespected. Mohke says, I feel like I'm always doing something wrong. And what did you decide? What were you deciding in your mind? I couldn't even make a decision because of all the yelling. All right. Damia says, I will just follow so I can get some peace of mind. Warda says, shut down. I don't want to listen. All right. So now let's have a look at the list that we have created together. So I will share my screen with you again. There's the share screen button. Yes. So I will share my screen here. Now let's have a look at the challenges. Did my attitude with you push you or drive you to do any of these challenges? On the left. Man says yes, unfortunately. How many of them, like, read them carefully. How many of them did my attitude push you to do these challenges? How many of them? Muhammad says 4. Yeah, many of them, right? My attitude is pushing you to do many of them. Now, let's have a look at the other side, the qualities, the characteristics, and the life skills. Did you learn anything from my attitude? Did you learn any of these skills and qualities? That's quite sad, says Muhammad. Yeah, I guess no, says Iman. Not at all, says Damia. Can't even feel positive on the inside. And we are not here again to blame anyone. And we are not here to shame or blame ourselves. We are here to gain awareness. Can you imagine that we bombard our children with lots of instructions and orders and things to do every single hour of the day? And then we wonder why our kids are not listening. Why are they not cooperating? Now, let's do it in a different way. So let's do a second round. You're a child, I'm your mom or your dad, and I want you to notice what are you thinking, feeling, and deciding, okay? Hey, what do you need to do so your teeth would be clean? What do you need to take with you so you won't be cold outside today? I wonder what's next on your bedtime routine chart. What's your plan for doing your homework today? How can you and your brother solve this problem together? I trust you. You have creative ideas. What did we decide at our family meeting last time to do with the dishes when we're done eating? What's your plan for catching up with the bus on time tomorrow? How can you talk so I can hear you? What is your responsibility when you are finished playing with your toys? So, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And what were you deciding? Iman says, it made me think calmly about the answers. I felt that I have a choice. I have input in the things that I do. Thank you. What else? Now let's share. Let me share the screen with you again. Muhammad says, I feel calm. My opinion matters. Warda says, I'm happy to respond. I feel relaxed. Yes. All right. Now, let's have a look back at our two lists that we created together. Did my questions and how I talk to you push you to do any of these challenges on the left? Did how I talk to you push you to do any of these undesirable behavior on the left? Give me a yes or a no in the comments, please. And now I want you to look at the right side, the qualities, the characteristics, and life skills. Did you get a chance to learn any of the qualities, the characteristics, and life skills on the right? Muhammad says no for the left and yes for the right. Yeah. What did you learn? What did you get a chance to practice? Which of these skills do you feel like you get to practice when I was talking to you in this way? Iman says good communication skills, problem solving, decision making, values, self love, decision making again. A lot, right? I respected you, so you learn to earn respect and respect yourself. Communication skills. I'm asking you questions. We're looking for a solution. Yes, a lot, a lot. So now we got the chance. Now we get it, right? Do you feel like you get it? You feel that how we deal with our children can make them turn into amazing human beings or can create monsters. It all starts with us, with you, the parent, right? So here we just saw an example of how we turned a mistake, which is a child not listening, into an opportunity to learn skills. How? By being intentional in how we deal with them. By the way, this is one of the tools that I teach in Bloom. There are more than 50 tools. This tool is called curiosity questions, or in other words, asking versus telling. Because the psychology of the brain is when someone tells us to do something, the message that goes to the brain is resist. But when we ask someone a question, the message that goes to the brain is relax, find an answer, cooperate. So this tool is one way to invite our children's cooperation and use their mistakes to turn them into lessons. There are many, many, many intentional parenting tools. This is one of them. All right. Now, the question is, let me share the screen with you. Um, why is it hard? Why is parenting hard? Like sometimes we read the parenting books, we see the parenting information online, but why sometimes is it hard to implement in real time? Because we have buttons. Because we have buttons. We all have buttons. We all have triggers. And guess who can push these buttons? Everyone around us, including our children. And let me do a quick demo for you to understand how the brain works. So there's this famous psychologist who's called Daniel Siegel. He explained a theory of the mind, okay? So it's called Brain in the Palm of the Hand if you want to read more about it. So what happens is this is you when you are calm, when you are in a good mood, you're having fun with your child, but then suddenly your child does something and you feel so frustrated and mad. Your child is whining, your child is asking you about something for the 100th time, although you've said no, and what happens? This part of your brain, when you are in a good mood, is called the prefrontal cortex. It's called in the Quran an-Nasiyah. All right? This part of your brain is responsible for the logical thinking, the reasoning, the teaching, being empathetic, understanding others, communicating with them, connecting with them, using your communication skills to communicate and deliver a message in a good way, okay? This part of your brain is responsible for doing this, okay? But what happens is when you get triggered by your child's behavior, any kind of behavior that annoys you, think of any kind of behavior, different things that trigger different people. What happens is immediately your brain does like this. You lose access to this part of your brain. It is switched off. Okay? And now, when you lose access to your big brain, your small brain is now only switched on, which is your survival brain. So your brain sees your child's behavior as an emergency. So your brain wants to protect you from this emergency. So you scream, you raise your voice, you yell, you punish, you send to the time out, you can hit them, you can, do all the things that later in the night you regret and feel guilty about. And more about that is because you lose access to your brain because your child has mirror neurons. They copy. Your children are a mirror for how you feel and how you act. You start having a rage or feeling frustrated, even if you're trying not to show it, your child will have the same feelings. So now you're mad and your child is mad. Is this the right time to teach them a lesson? Is this the right time to teach them a lesson? Are you going to be able to put your thoughts into words and deliver the message in a way that they would understand? When both of you don't have access to your big brain, will your child listen? Will your child understand? Will your child tune in to what you're saying? Will you say the right words? It's not the right time for sure. So what needs to happen is both of you, first, it starts by you. You need to calm yourself down first, and then calm your child down. And then later, when both of you are in a good mood, you can talk about the lesson and discuss it and teach them later. But now it's not the right time. And this tool is called positive time out. You take a positive time out for yourself. Excuse me, I'm not feeling well right now. I need to be excused. I'll be back in a few minutes. And one other tool that we can use is create a cool out space. A cool out space is a corner in your home that you can create with your child, that whenever they are feeling mad or angry, you ask them, hey, would you like to go to your pull out space to calm down? It can have cushions, it can have stories, it can have bubbles, it can have anything to help them calm down. And these tools that we have mentioned today, the positive time out, the asking the curiosity questions, or using the creating a cool out space at home, all of them teach children these qualities and so much more when we get to practice them. So many parents have a difficult time giving up punishment or being permissive unless they know what else to do. And the good thing about intentional parenting or positive parenting is that it teaches us so many tools that can help us work on ourselves and help our children learn self-discipline, learn responsibility, learn cooperation. It teaches them that I am capable. I can take decisions. I can think. I can focus on the solution. I can find an answer. I can feel motivated to do the right thing because it feels good for me. Not because I'm going to take the reward, not because I'm afraid of the punishment. No, because it feels good for me. And that's what happens when we consistently use several intentional parenting tools. It nurtures the child's inner sense of right or wrong. So let's have a look at some of these tools. Today we talked about asking questions. Can you see the screen? Curiosity questions. That's much better. Curiosity questions. There's another tool called connection before connection. It really works with young children and older children because when we jump into correction mode with our children, most of the time they tune out and they don't want to listen and we end up repeating ourselves. But when we take the time to connect with them, and there are many different ways to connect with our children, they start tuning in and accepting our guidance. And also, there's another tool that's called family meetings. We can have a family meeting with our children to discuss agreements, to create boundaries, to create routines, and there's a certain formula for doing a successful family meeting. There are tools that help us give our children opportunities to have jobs at home. So they learn to contribute at home. They're not just taking or receiving, they contribute. And contributing for children is so important. It teaches them to be responsible. It teaches them balance. Many kids today feel so entitled. They always want and demand and ask you to get them things because they are used to only taking. But when we give them the opportunity to contribute, they learn there's give and take. There are tools for following through with our children, the agreements, and there's learning to be kind and firm, balancing between being kind and firm. So one common, I think we have a question here. Samira says, does this work for neurodivergent kids as well, whose executive function are a couple of years behind peers? Definitely, Samira. These work with children with ADD, the intentional parenting tools, ADD, ADHD, and children who are on the autism spectrum. Because these skills in children are a muscle. The more we train this muscle, the more they embody these skills. in their personality. And in blue, inshallah, if you decide to join, there are customized tools for children with different ages, different personalities, different tempers, different children who are neurodivergent. There is a way, don't worry. So, have you ever felt that you're repeating yourself with your children? You ask your child to clean up their room many, many times. You ask them gently, but they don't. You ask your child that when they come back from school, they have to put their bag here and their shoe here. When they are done with eating, they need to do that. When you want them to ask you about something, you want them to ask you in a specific way, but they don't like. Have you ever felt that you're repeating yourself with your children on a daily basis every day? Let me know in the comments. Give me a +1 or say yes. Why does this happen? Hitting, biting, fighting, not cleaning up the room, homework, morning battles before school, bedtime battles, praying. Why? Why? Now, let's look at this diagram. What you see is your child's behavior. That's only 30% of what's happening inside them. But the 70% is down there, the belief behind their behavior. And unfortunately, most of the parenting advice and the parenting tips and how we direct our children and correct them, we only focus on the behavior. So we numb or stop or pause the behavior for a while, but then it repeats again and again and again. Why? Because the belief behind the behavior, the driving force that is motivating them to do this is still there. And let me give you a quick example. Let's say your child has a fever and you keep giving them the fever reducer, the fever gets down, and then 4 hours later, it's so high. Why? You have addressed the symptom, the fever. But what is the root cause of the fever? Is it a sore throat? Is it a stomach ache? Are they teething? You know, there could be many reasons. So when it comes to children's behavior, what I love about intentional parenting is that it addresses the belief behind the behavior. Children have beliefs, and as long as the belief is there, you will keep doing the same behavior. So that's why we need to work on their beliefs, how they see themselves, how they see others, how they see the world. These beliefs. And there is a way to understand the belief behind the behavior. It's a process. We don't have time for it right now, but I teach it in Bloom. Because when we understand the belief behind the behavior, only then we can help our children do less of the undesired behavior. So, how do you feel right now? Now that we have talked about what works and what doesn't work, we have shared parenting tools. How do you feel right now? Do you feel like you can take this knowledge and apply it and benefit of it, do something with it at home with your family? And I would love to know what landed for you. What were your aha moments? I see yes, yes, yes. Thank you. All right. So next steps, inshallah. Tamia says, I feel a bit more confident to try and remember when faced with children, inshallah. Yes, Tamia. Yeah. So, yeah. Uh, Let me go back to sharing the screen. So next steps, inshallah, for those of you who feel drawn to intentional parenting and you want to take this learning further and you want to have a deeper transformation and you want to get support with it, I will share with you about Bloom quickly. So Bloom is a 12-week live parenting program to help you understand your children, connect with them, and communicate with them. So you can have more peace within, more peace at home, and raise them to become capable, responsible, respectful, and God conscious. So who is Bloom for? It's for parents of children aged 2 to 13 years old. It's for parents who want to raise their children intentionally without overwhelming parenting strategies. It's for parents who want to have more joy with their children and they also want to influence them. So Bloom is based on a 4 C's framework. We help you nurture your calm, confidence, connection, and cooperation. What does this mean? We work on your calm because your children's emotional regulation starts by your emotional regulation. So you learn how to calm yourself down and regulate your emotions, how to deal with your frustration before reacting to your children. And then you learn how to help your children regulate their own emotions. And then comes the confidence in navigate. You learn the tools to help you navigate the daily challenges with them and turn them into opportunities to learn a skill or a value for the future. And you learn to connect with them because you have as much influence on your children as how much connection you have with them. Think of connection as a bridge. The more connection you have with your child, the more that your guidance and your influence will go through. But if that connection is shaky, your child will tune you out and will be influenced by society, media, others. Connecting with your child is your most valuable asset, and we're going to work on that in Bloom. And then we're going to work on inviting your child's cooperation. So what exactly are we going to cover? We learn emotion regulation, deal with your emotions, handle your children's tantrums effectively, inspire them to express themselves in healthier ways. I teach you how to teach your children emotional vocabulary. So instead of them like throwing tantrums all the time, they learn to express themselves using their words. Takes time, but it works. You learn to use effective parenting tools to invite your children's cooperation and guide them through their mistakes. In Bloom, you learn to give your children opportunities to teach them responsibility so that they can contribute at home, pray, do their homework, clean up, and do general life tasks that are important for them right now and in the future. In Bloom, also, you learn to create successful daily routines and boundaries. You have less power struggles and you have systems for success. And I teach you how to follow through when your child doesn't feel like cooperating. And the most important thing is we learn how to raise children who love God and seek to please Him, not follow the crowd, not follow others, because this is very important nowadays. You also learn to understand the root cause of your child's behavior based on psychology and Islamic psychology principles as well. So you can address it and inspire their growth and learning. Address the behavior from the core, like the belief, not just the surface level behavior. And I will share with you a link right now that has all the Bloom details, and it has success stories of parents who have joined, mothers who have joined Bloom in the previous round. In the link, you will find the story of Mother H. Before joining Bloom, no cooperation with her children, She always used to suffer from inner frustration, stressful home environment, always raising her voice, lots of mom guilt, always correcting her children but in vain, and she felt like she's always repeating herself. And now, alhamdulillah, she has more peace at home, more peace within, more understanding and connection between her and her children. You can find her story in the link that I will share with you. And then we have the story of Mother R. She was too kind and overprotective with her child. She couldn't stand seeing her child cry. She felt responsible for making her child happy all the time, lots of mom guilt, constant battles about screen time, cleaning up, brushing teeth, getting the daily things done. And now, alhamdulillah, when you read her story, all of this, mashallah, is gone. How? By applying the intentional parenting tools. So imagine 12 weeks from now, how will your story be like? Maybe in the next session, I will be sharing your story with the parents. Imagine having a more peaceful home. Imagine understanding your children. Imagine connecting with them. Imagine teaching them amazing skills and amazing values. And imagine one day when you're no longer here in this world, you see lots of rewards coming to you. And you ask why? It's because you have raised a righteous child. So Bloom is 12 weeks. We have 12 live sessions together. Some sessions are trainings and some sessions are coaching where you get to ask questions and I give you individualized support and coaching to support you and your children. There's also a private community of like-minded parents, follow-up feedback. Let me share with you the link so you can check all the other details by yourself. I will place it for you in the chat if you're watching live. And for those of you who are going to catch up with the replay, I'll place the link below the video. I place the link below the video in the description box or in the first comment. So there are different payment plans. There's a 6-month plan, a 4-month plan, and a 2-month plan, and a pay in full option. Payment plans start for the 6 months from $153. Yeah. Now, before we go, let me know if you have any questions about Bloom. Frequent asked questions I get. Which age is Bloom suitable for? Bloom is suitable for children from the age 2 to 12. When are we starting? We're starting, inshallah, on August 29th. It's going to be a Tuesday, and we meet live for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. A question that I often get asked sometimes, I am so excited about Bloom. I feel like it's going to help me and my family, but I'm afraid that my partner will tell me that it's going to be out of my budget. Let me tell you something. We pay for what we find valuable. Many people, let's say, for example, fly from a continent to another, right? Tickets have become very expensive, but because they value traveling or value seeing their family, they pay. So try to explain to your partner the value. Ask them, how much do they value having a peaceful home? How much do they value investing in their children and raising them to become responsible, respectful, God-conscious, confident, strong? And also explain, like, imagine if we don't do something or if we don't do something new or take extra steps today for our family, nothing changes, right? Everything will be as is. But if we decide today to take a step and invest in our family and our children, in 12 weeks, in 6 months, in a year, our future self will thank us today for taking this step. And the value of Bloom is not just for the 12 weeks, it's for the lifelong transformation and the tools that you will keep on using with your children as they grow, inshallah. So if you have any questions about Bloom, feel free to ask them here in the comments and I will answer them. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. And for the action takers who join, inshallah, within the next 24 hours, I would love to offer you a bonus, which is a complimentary one-to-one session with me, inshallah, that you can use during your time in Bloom to get extra support. There are extra bonuses with Bloom that you get immediate access to once you join. You gain access to a masterclass called Raising God-Conscious Children, and another extra bonus to a program called Calm that will help you further regulate your emotions and help your children regulate their emotions. So, thank you so much for being here. It was an honor. Muhammad says, how much time you need per week to work on this program? Muhammad, all you need to do is just show up live for the hour or the hour and 20 minutes for the session. And by the end of each session, I will give you a homework or a tool or something to apply with your children. It does not require any special preparation. You just attend the session, the 1 hour or the 90-minute maximum session, and then you go apply for a whole week. And then you come back for the following session, you give me feedback, and I give you feedback about what can go even better, what can you try next time. I will help you further take the next steps to achieve your parenting goals and work on your specific challenges that you face with your children and your specific goals that you have for your children and for your family as well. So no time required to work on the program. You just attend and you apply on the spot with your children. Can I have a detail if I want to certify in this program? What do you mean by you want to certify in this program? I provide you with a certificate that you have attended X number of hours for training in this intentional parenting program. Yes, I give you a certificate. You're welcome, Muhammad. So, anybody else has any questions about Bloom? I have sent you the link, and for those of you who will join, inshallah, within the next 24 hours, I would love to offer you this bonus. Is there a recording of the session as I missed most of it? Yes, Mahinur. There will be a recording for this session, inshallah, and it will be sent by email for those of you who want to watch it with their partners. How often do you repeat the program? The next round, I haven't decided yet, Muhammad, when I will be hosting it, because I host different programs throughout the year, and sometimes I don't host group programs. I focus on working one-to-one with clients. So if you feel like you're drawn to Bloom, that's a good chance to join right now. Otherwise, we can work one-to-one with your family, inshallah. Mahinur is asking about the bonuses will be emailed for one-to-one session. Yeah, everyone who joins within the next 24 hours gets access to the bonus, the one-to-one session, and the extra bonuses, the Raising God Conscious Children and the Calm program as well. Yes. So before we go, I want you really to take a moment to thank yourself for being here today, for taking the time to invest in your family. You invested your time today. You are being intentional by being here today. Mahinur says, how do we join? Is there a separate link? Sorry, I missed the recording. Yeah, there's the link. The link here is in the comments, Mahinur, and I will also be sending it by email. And for those of you who are watching the replay, you will find the link in the description box below the video or in the comments. So I want you to take a moment to thank yourself for being here today. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine 12 weeks from now, 6 months from now, and 1 year from now, how do you want your relationship with your children to be like? How do you want to see them? What routines do you want to have cultivated at home? What boundaries do you want to have at home? How do you want your home life with your family to feel like? How do you want your children to talk to you? And how do you want you to talk with your children? The home environment, how you connect with them, how peaceful your home is. Imagine all this and think, what steps can you take today, inshallah, to bring you closer to this dream, inshallah. So thank you everyone for being here. It has been an honor. And I will see you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.